The quality of a crop is highly dependent on the weather. Success may sometimes depend on which way the wind blows and its speed. But farmers take that risk year after year because it's part of the job. This is not your typical 9-to-5er. It usually starts at the crack of dawn and doesn't end until the job is done. Let's get into gear and head northeast of Calgary to the Acme area. It's there we find the Sawyer Family Farm.
Hi, I'm Matt Sawyer. I'm a fourth-generation grain farmer.
Hi, I'm Tara Sawyer. I'm the secretary, bookkeeper, parts runner, and meal-to-field bringer on Sawyer Farms. Matt and I met 2 weeks before harvest started.
She came out to the farm and she didn't even know what a swath was or a combine or anything like that. One of our hired guys, she went to the side of the road, he picked her up and he dropped her off in the field. He says, "Matt's over there." And she said, "What, do you want me to walk over there?"
When we first started dating, our dates were in the grain truck.
My great-grandfather homesteaded here in 1903, and then the land transferred to my grandmother. When she married my grandpa, he sold his farm in Delburn and they moved here and expanded this farm. Mom and Dad started farming alongside my aunt and uncle. When my uncle retired, I started renting some of their land. Now I'm farming, so that's how it worked out. I learned a lot from my grandpa and my uncle and my dad, and that inspired me to want to be involved in the farming business.
I am from Calgary and I really had no connection at all to where my food came from. It's a different lifestyle completely. You're outside for one thing, you know. Everything you do revolves around the weather and trying to bring the best out of the land. I love waking up in the morning to the view out my back door. We are so fortunate to live in the community we live in. I love Acme. I think it is a fantastic area to raise our kids. There are challenges to living out here, but I don't know if I think of them necessarily as a negative. I think maybe when I first moved out here, the idea that there wasn't takeout was a challenge. But now, yes, we have to drive farther to get to our groceries, but I wouldn't trade living out here just for having to drive half an hour.
Matt, a director with the Alberta Barley Commission, says that between this year's positive growing conditions and high commodity pricing, this farming family is enthusiastic.
We crop 4,200 acres of owned and rented land. We produce hard red spring wheat, feed barley, malt barley, and canola, as well as we have a very small commercial herd of cows for our marginal pasture land. Whenever we can, we bring our machinery home to the main yard. That's where it gets fueled and serviced. I always like to blow off the combines with my leaf blower. And ever since we've started doing that, it seems like we haven't had as many fires. We like to maintain everything in the yard and get everything ready because I guess doing your due diligence or your best management practice, if the vehicles leave the yard and they're serviced, well then you know that you're doing the best you can to prevent breakdowns. After we put the crop in the ground and it starts to grow up, then a lot of people driving on the highways, they'll notice the beautiful yellow color of the crop of canola. And then once it's done its flowering stage, it starts to set, it goes into the pod stage, and that's when it's forming the seeds that we harvest. Once it ripens, then some people straight cut their canola, which the straight cut headers on the combines, or we swath our canola and we put it all together. And it takes anywhere from 14 to 20 days to dry the canola down in the swath so that it's ready to harvest. Once the canola seed itself, or the bulk of the seeds, get down below the moisture level of 9.5% or 9%. Some people like to harvest it a bit lesser of moisture. Then you can harvest that, and you'll either haul it directly to the terminal or you'll put it in a bin like the one that we're doing right here. First of all, you back the truck up to the auger and you lift the hoist up of the box. The grain is then dumped into the base of the auger. The auger transports the canola to the top of the bin, and it's dropped down into the center of the bin, where it'll be stored safely until we want to haul it to its future destination. This canola will be hauled out to a terminal in October or November, or some of the contracts that we have would be March, and it'll be turned into many different products, from canola oil to margarine and that sort of thing. This year we've made a few adjustments. I've got an automatic mover on my auger so that the swing part of the auger will move automatically back and forth with a control, and it also lifts up and down with a control. Any type of automated device you can use to reduce your wear and tear on your body is good for me. At harvest, we do have our helpers, and we like to make sure that it's that we're not working too hard, but we work from 8 until midnight. And we don't stop for supper. Everybody starts talking about what Tara's going to bring us for supper at around 4:30, and then your tummy starts to grumble, and you wonder, well, what do you think she's going to have for us tonight? So if that mule wagon's late, boy, you sure start watching your clock past 6 o'clock. Well, I wonder what happened to supper.
My morning starts usually around 6:30, 6:45, so is when I get up and start the coffee and the tea, and then start waking up the kids, and we go from there. It goes from 7 until the day is done. After 6 o'clock, supper is done, and it's quiet time and running the kids everywhere. I get up in the morning for my kids and my husband, and I look forward to the day. I look forward to getting to make everybody their lunch. I take pride in being a farm wife. I take pride in cooking the meals, knowing that that's what keeps the guys rolling through harvest and seeding.
During seeding and harvest, it's just, there's a buzz about it that it's hard to describe. That you wake up and you're just energized and ready to go. It's a great feeling knowing that you're producing the raw food product on your farm that's going to feed thousands and thousands and thousands of people across the world.
We care about the environment. We care what we're putting into our land, and we care what product we're selling that is going to feed not just our children, but your children. Our children will be 5th generation farmers on this land. You don't get to be 5th generation unless you took good care of that land and took pride and did the best you could.
For the Sawyer family, farming is their livelihood, and you can really see their passion for creating a flavorful and bountiful product.
Good day. I'm looking forward to supper.